we still have no theme music and no swag, and it'll happen. But
the best of plans.
I think, and I was going to say bitching about it, but we were talking about it. We're nuzzling right up to the holidays.
I know.
The Christmas, seasonal spirit has not quite reached me yet.
I do have my Christmas tree up. I'm decorated, because it's after Thanksgiving.
No.
But I spent the weekend in Manhattan, and
How was that?
it was the first thing that happened was I got in a cab. We took the train up, my daughter and I, and got in a cab, and I told the cab driver, it's like, going to this hotel, this neighborhood, and he goes, I need an address. And I felt myself, I was like, is this this is a thing now? Cabbies don't know where to go?
Yeah.
Like a New York cabbie doesn't know where to go, which is a huge problem.
Right.
So, I'm like, I gotta look up the name of it. I'm like, I give him the address. So he's like, all right. I'm like, all right. Drive, dude.
It's the job.
I'm like,
we're on an island. Where else are you going to go?
Yeah, you're going in a loop all day long.
Right now, you're going to go downtown.
Yeah. It's like, I understand if I had been like way out, way out in Queens.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I get it. It's a problem.
Oh, yeah. I used to get that going back to Brooklyn. If you're in Manhattan and you say you're going to Brooklyn, you get the...
Yeah, nobody wants to get, nobody will ever take you to Newark.
Yeah. But it's funny, because that used to be the thing. Like, to get your hacker's license, you have to know everything, and you'd be tested on it. I guess now with Uber,
but the other thing is like they have their own app because it's does the calculations of the tolls and everything and they have Curb or whatever it's called, which is their thing. But so they don't have a map to put in an address.
To say this is where I'm going.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, just have a second thing there with your phone.
Right.
So it was that immediately irritated. Whatever. It was that's fine. I got over it. But we had tickets to go see a Broadway show. So we went up and we saw the Christmas tree at 30 Rock.
Yeah,
with the
big tree.
Yeah, it's a big tree that you can't get close to, so it seems like a Christmas tree.
Like you can't get the scale of it.
The scale is lost on you. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it the ice skating rink?
Yeah.
Below it, right? Yeah. It's been a while.
Man, talk about a bunch of slack-jawed yokels. Jesus fucking Christ.
The tourists, yeah.
Yeah. There's so many of them. And it's funny. It's not just what you're like, there's a Midwestern family here. Wow, look at the size of that tree. Which is ironic because they come from the land of giant trees. Now you have the dumbest people from all over the world gathered in one spot.
Oh, yeah.
You have stupid Russians going, look at the size of that tree.
With bedazzled jeans and...
Yeah, you know they're Russian. I mean, it's unreal how impressed these people are by a tree with lights. It's only to then be outdone by our brunch at the American Girl Doll Cafe.
Oh, I forgot you were doing that. You had told me that you had filled me in on this. I had no idea anything about this.
Which I have an amazing picture from, which you can see right here if you're watching on YouTube.
Is this part of evidence? This is Exhibit B.
Yeah, it's definitely coming up later. This will be at my trial. I do worry about this podcast being played at trial later. So definitely, it was.
But explain, you bring your doll
okay,
with
so
you.
it's the American Girl Doll store, which is right on 30 Rock.
Right.
It's 30 Rock adjacent.
Sure.
So, which is why we were there. So it's the American Girl Doll store, which has every possible thing you could want to buy for your American Girl doll. Because it's the dolls, clothing, accessories, and then human-sized clothing versions of the outfits. Wow. Yeah, it's weird.
That's next level.
Yeah.
So what outfit did you get?
It's a romper.
Yeah, I'd walk in there and go, oh, shit, we're going to be a while. I need a dressing room.
I'm I'm going to need a dressing room. But I realized immediately when we got there, because we went in and my wife and my daughter had to use the restroom, and they go, and I'm standing outside there. And in between having my foot run over by strollers, I saw a woman come out of the bathroom, march up to her miserable husband and go, "Could you try to enjoy yourself for your daughters? Could you? Do you think you could?" And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy.
Right. You have a choice. You step into the American Girl doll cafe. You have a choice.
But we're all in this together, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't think you're above this.
Right.
Like, you're here
Yeah, you're in it.
because of your daughter.
Right.
No boys. No boys in the entire joint. Not even a miserable little brother. It was 100% little girls. It was weird. I actually said something at one point. I was like, isn't that odd? There's no, like, little boys.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you'd think one, like, brother. I guess they, split up at that point. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
wanna-
experience.
You want to go to the ESPN cafe or whatever?
Yeah.
you know?
Go stare at TVs.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, first of all, these dolls have gotten they've always been expensive. They have, in the past 4 years or whenever, since my daughter's got one, like, gone up by maybe 40%. They are very expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm in a line about 55 people deep. I was like, just bring stuff to me as you're going to
Yeah, I'll just keep moving
but we're
in the
buying
line.
like little boxes of clothing or accessories or whatever. And I mean, I have 5 little boxes. People have like 8 boxes and 2 dolls.
Oh, Jesus.
So I mean, they're in this for, $600-700 a pop, and this is almost everybody in line with me.
Holy.
I mean, it's a factory. Dude.
Yeah.
They are print money.
Scrooge Duck is in the back.
But I mean, we noticed there's a salon where I guess you can get your hair done to match
With
your
the
doll's
doll.
hair,
Oh my
right?
God.
Yeah, weird. There's an ER.
Oh, for broken limbs.
Yeah.
And I got it. I'm following.
Which
I'm keeping up.
I was hugely disappointed to see that the people working in the ER were not wearing scrubs,
Right, or they were probably,
which I thought would have
like,
been a nice
soaping up.
touch.
Yeah.
And then there's the American Girl Doll Cafe, where they give you a little booster seat for your doll, put it on the table.
So every table has a doll on it.
Yes, and you have to have a child with you.
That
Is
is
the only other.
freaky.
If you don't have a doll, they have loaner dolls. Like, remember you used to get a loaner suit jacket at a fancy restaurant?
Did you bring?
Yeah,
Lowe's
she
doll?
brought her doll.
She has a doll.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She brought her doll, and I can't remember the doll's name. Sophia, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, we you have the 2 rules. If you don't have a doll, they'll give you a doll. It's like having to put a jacket on.
Yeah.
And you have to have a child with you. Those are the rules.
Yeah.
They serve booze, but you got to have a kid, and it's a great rule.
That's a good rule. Yeah.
There was a great Saturday Night Live bit with Travis Kelce where it was just him
Trying
like
to
dressed
get
in a
into-
suit, like with his doll, like several dolls, talking to other children it was very
But he
weird.
didn't have a kid.
Yeah, very, very funny.
Wow.
But yeah, the meal was fine. It was a-okay. But needless to say, there's a very long way of saying, I'm still not feeling the Christmas spirit.
Yeah. Holy hell! How was the show? How was the Broadway show?
It was. We saw Wicked, the Broadway show, not the movie. We didn't go
I
to
was
New
gonna
York to
say,
see the movie.
you know, you could.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
movie.
I know. It was.
I'd rather see the play. If I had a choice, I'd see the play.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
It was really, really
You know
good.
it's gonna be good.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah,
It's
Broadway.
too expensive
Yeah.
to put on a Broadway show for it not to be good.
Yeah.
Also, it's been on Broadway for like almost 24 years or something.
Really?
Yeah.
That long?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's maybe it's 21 years. Yeah. It's been a long run with a lot of people in it, and
Yeah.
it's good. I mean, the humor's great. The effects work is fantastic. It's a huge show. Actually, the performances were great. The songs, they're all right. There's like one catchy one.
Yeah.
But like sort of the weakest link. I mean, the acting was way better than any of the music.
Yeah.
And the stagecraft was
Yeah.
really good, really quite good.
Yeah.
I love a live performance.
I always love the premise of it. I just thought it was like just a really
Also,
creative.
I always thought it was like a full like prequel
Right.
It's not. It like really
Goes-
runs right up into the Wizard of Oz. But it's very interesting and very well thought out and very well done. And
Yeah.
dude, you cannot beat a live performance.
Yeah.
Live Broadway music, whatever it is, it's the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know because before the weekend you're talking about it, and then we were talking about, oh, well, we need to do an episode, and we were thinking about shows, and we were thinking about, what could we talk about? We always try to, even if we have a few in the bank, we kind of like want to see what we're in the mood for, and we were talking about best shows we've ever seen.
Yeah. Best live shows we've ever seen.
Best live shows we've ever seen. And again, we're trying to make these a little shorter, so I think this is a cool little topic.
Get right into it.
To jump in. Do we want to go to the best ever, or you want to like go through a couple?
I mean,
preliminary questions.
I mean, I know I have because I went to so many shows. And I was friends with so many people in bands that like I've seen a lot of weird people in weird places they shouldn't have been.
Right.
Like, very, very small venues and big bands.
Yeah.
Doing, like I saw Queens of the Stone Age at the Khyber when they did like that unannounced show when they were opening for the Chili Peppers.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's, I saw Oasis on their first tour, Pearl Jam before they were Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of Nirvana right before Nevermind came out.
But like, you gotta know, because I know all the venues you saw these. These are small. These are bars.
Yeah. Essentially,
like they are music venues. Barely. Like, they're attached to a bar, and there's an empty room next to it with a stage.
Yeah,
and that's about it. So you're talking a few hundred people.
Yeah, but I mean, you've seen some shows that I didn't, and it bothers me that I haven't seen. Like, I never saw Prince.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, because I thought I had time.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for him to come out of the jazz and R&B.
Yeah, the big
thing, because I figured there was like another.
Yeah. Well, the one, because it's like we were tasked to like come up with our favorite show, and like I don't mind if I get mine out of the bag ahead of time.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Anyways.
It's gonna happen
but
anyway.
Just because you brought up the Prince, because it's like it's tough. I saw Prince 4 times. And I saw him 1985 Purple Rain show at the Carrier Dome, which is the one that was filmed for release.
Yeah.
So like, I can watch it anytime I want now because it was the Purple Rain concert movie was the show I went to.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Sheila E. opened up for him. The Time played with him. Apollonio was on stage with him. It was like it was insane. Then I saw Sign of the Times in '87, and it was a masterclass in a show. Like
that. See, that to me is the perfect time to see Prince would have been insane. Sign of the Times.
But the thing is like thinking about it is like Purple Rain was such a hype, and I was like in high school, and it was just like, and I loved Prince, and well before Purple Rain came out. And it delivered. It was amazing. But it's like for best show ever, then it's like Sign of the Times was amazing. And this was good. I was in college, and my roommate never saw Prince and whatever. And he was like a Pink Floyd, Bowie,
pretty far
he was
from,
like he did not get Prince. So we had a not a bet, but we made a deal. I'm taking him to a Prince show, which was Sign of the Times, and he took me to see Genesis. And it was, I looked it up.
Invisible Touch?
Invisible
Touch.
Yeah,
dude. If there was a time to see Genesis, that's it.
It was good. We both had a great time, but after he said the Prince concert was the best concert he's ever been to.
Right. He's still a Prince fan. Yeah. And you change the channel when you hear Genesis.
I'll listen. But the thing that was so memorable with the Genesis show, it was at the Vet in Philadelphia.
Wow, yeah.
And the Flyers were in the Stanley Cup playing across the street Game 6.
Oh, man.
And so Phil Collins, knowing this, he's like, we did a whole thing where we try to levitate the Vet, for the Flyers. Yeah. And after we did this whole thing where we levitated the Vet in support of the Flyers, he announced that they won Game 6.
Wow! Nobody was checking the score on their phone. At that,
there's no checking. It's like Phil Collins is giving us.
You had to wait to hear.
So, anyways, and then I didn't see the whole show, and it was kind of half-assed, but I still mark it as seeing it. Our friend Dave DeJezer, his at the time girlfriend got me into a once in a lifetime show at the Tower. It was 1997 at the Tower, and he was like promoting like some entourages, like these two girls, I think, or what, I don't know, but like it wasn't marked as a Prince show, but it turned into a Prince show.
Oh,
and she just knew someone who got me in, and so I got to see it at the Tower, most of it. But it was still there.
Yeah,
It was
you
like,
get to say
it was the closest I ever was to like seeing him.
Smallest
like,
venue,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
see the whole stage
Yeah.
and everything that was going on.
Yeah, what a great venue to see.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
show really. But
No,
that's
really.
yeah. I went to the there was a famous Jane's Addiction show there where they played like 4 songs and it ended in a riot.
Yeah, in a riot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was but the thing that kills me was, it was Jane's Addiction broke up not long after that, the first time.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh man,
Yeah.
that was like my shot. That was the time I was going to see them.
Yeah. No, but like the time you should have saw Prince was at Madison Square Garden. He did like I think like 5 shows
Yeah,
or
yeah.
6 shows or something like that. Celebrity stuff, but it was the best of. And it's like, you don't always like want like, Purple Rain or Sign of the Times, but this was like he went back and was playing like Controversy and Dirty Mind.
Yeah,
and,
that's
and like
those were
B-sides,
big
and,
shows,
like,
right?
He really, it was like just like thing. And I remember saying, it's like, I think I missed one tour, like in the middle. It was the piano and guitar.
Oh yeah.
I missed that. I think that was at the Electric Factory.
Was that Musicology or?
I'm not even
before
sure. But after the Madison Square Garden show, I was like, I will never not go to a show. It's like,
Right.
just do it. But then,
Yeah. Didn't you go to one at like not Hammerstein Ballroom? You went. I thought you saw.
oh, it was
another
a tribute.
show.
It was a tribute.
tribute.
Show
Oh, that was a tribute show. That's right.
Yeah, a bunch of bands did it. And like, I think everyone was there because you thought he would make an appearance, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Not that we know of.
Right. Yeah.
But it was still cool. It was still really cool. It was a fun show.
Yeah. We have to do just a Prince episode because I think there's so many
there's so
amazing things with Prince. You know what? I did see Jane's Addiction again. I had in the original. Because I saw that first Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
that's when I saw him.
So I think it would have to be a Prince show. All of them are my favorites. But I think one, it's closer in my memory, is the Madison Square Garden show, just because it was like the best of.
Right, and that was
he
like all-encompassing show.
all-encompassing
It was career
show. Got
encompassing,
like
yeah.
all like so many of my favorite songs that I never thought I would hear.
Right.
Because it was late in the game. It's like you think about all
Yeah, you didn't
shows
think he was
you'd
going to
want-
play
if you
Dirty
could go
Mind
back in
stuff. Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, some like small venue
Right.
in Minneapolis and him playing Dirty Mind.
Well, like,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
what's the show you never got to see?
Yeah,
Like, who's the artist you never got to see that you wish you had seen?
Well, and I investigated because we've talked about
Yeah.
this.
I know
It's Van Halen.
It's 100%.
just
It's 100% early 80s Van Halen.
like
David Lee Roth.
between 77 and like 83.
Right before 1984 came out.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
And I looked it up, and you were just like, well, maybe they never played Syracuse.
Right. I thought maybe it just didn't time out.
Because
for you.
I grew up in Utica, New York, and they actually canceled in '78. And when I
Son
saw
of a
that,
bitch.
and it was at the Utica Odd, and I remember it, and I didn't have tickets, but I remember people being pissed off. I remember people in my
there you
school
go.
and like my brother, like people were pissed off because they canceled the show in Utica. And then I checked in their 84 show, their 80s show, they went to Buffalo and Rochester. And 84, they went to Buffalo. So they never went to Syracuse.
Never played Syracuse again. Yeah.
And like Buffalo's a little far away,
Yeah.
to be, like a teenager.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, oh,
Man.
shit. But
See,
yeah.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I knew there was a reason. I knew there had to be a reason that you didn't.
And like when I was
In
looking
that era,
at the 1978 tour list, Utica crossed out, canceled.
Man, such a bummer.
Such a bummer. How about you?
I mean, I have to say it would be that era Van Halen. I always said like if you could go see one show, what would it? That would be it.
Yeah.
That would be the time and the place like to see that one. I am trying to think of like what's the one I didn't go to and I was like I could have.
Oh yeah, like it was there.
It was right
for
there.
the taking and you didn't do it
because there were a couple times where I was like, nah, I'm gonna stay home tonight, and everyone went,
I hate
what a night. I mean, I was supposed to go to see TV on the radio one night, and I didn't go.
Oh man.
I think you might have gone.
Yeah, was that the show?
That was the show.
You were supposed to. Were you going with Bowers or?
I think no, it wasn't Bowers, but somebody else had a ticket for me, and I was supposed to go.
All right, so I'm gonna tell the story. I know I talk way too much, but this
it's worth it.
This is my princess story. This is what I know. Like back in the day when we were out and going out, we knew girls that would go out without a dime in their pocket, knowing that they'd be able to drink all night. Whether it's a bartender or some horny dude trying to buy them drinks or whatever, they never had to they never pay cover. They never had to.
Yeah,
it's
just
like
walk into any place.
They were like confused by us. It's like, oh, we got to go to the ATM and get money. They're like, what for? We never pay for anything.
Right? Yeah. Of course, we'd only take out $60, but still.
Oh, that was a lot.
Yeah. It was.
So this is my princess night. I wanted to go to that show. I'm a big fan of TV on the radio, and they're playing a small venue. I finished bowling. And I had an amazing game. I bowled like a 600. We destroyed a rival team, and I was feeling myself. I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going to the show because it's like I really like bowling. So I didn't want to, and it's a league, so I didn't want to like conflict. I was like, they're probably still playing, So I'm gonna head over to the venue and see if I can get a ticket. But and I do this a lot. It's like, especially in the city, if I can find parking.
Right, yeah. You were driving.
Like if the parking gods open up a spot for me, I will make the effort to try to go to something. So I do that a lot. Right in front. I pull right in. I'm like, oh, this is looking good. I go to the will call. They're like, any tickets? They're like, no, completely sold out. I said, I can hear the show going on. I'm like, they've already hit the stage. Can I just give you $20 and let me in the door? Like I was like hell bent on going.
It was Electric Factory?
No, Union Transfer.
Union Transfer, okay. Yeah.
And she's like, nope, no tickets. I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm not above scalping. So no scalpers, nothing. The show's already starting. It's like, no. And there's this chick, very like Avril Lavigne. Or no, yeah. Like a little punk girl.
Yeah.
Half my age,
early 2000s punk girl.
Yeah. Half my age, smoking. She's like, you really want to go to the show, huh? I was like, yeah. I'm a little nervous. I was like,
didn't think Satan would take this form.
Yeah. She had the heavy makeup, like the hair. She's like, fucking cool kid. Way cooler than I could ever be at however old she was. She's like, this is my third cigarette. Every time I go in, they ask me for my ticket, and I just flash it to them and keep walking. You want to walk in with me? And I'm just like, fuck, hell, yeah.
Cool chick.
Let's do it. Such a cool chick. I was like, I was down. I'm like, don't blow it. Don't blow it. So she goes on the outside of me, and I'm on the inside, kind of lolling behind, and we walk in the doors. The two ticket guys are like sitting there. They're like, tickets. And she just holds up her ticket, and we just keep walking. So we walk in. I never had a ticket.
Wow.
So I'm just like,
I didn't realize that was your entrance. That's a pretty great one.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Didn't think your guardian angel would look like Avril Lavigne.
Yeah. It was just like, she was so fucking cool. But she's with a girlfriend. So I thought, I was like, thanks. I didn't want to creep her out being like some old dude, like, father. She's like, no, come on. She's like, we actually have extra drinks. We bought drinks. We're not drinking them. Come with her. So like, and like, when I go to a concert, I go hang out in the back. I'm a fly on the wall. I let the crowd be the crowd, and I listen to the music.
Old punks don't die. They just stand in the back.
She like grabs my hand, and like we go all the way to the fucking front. You know, but like on the side balcony, but all the way to the very front where the stage is. So there's a pit, but we're on like the it's not a balcony. It's just kind of a riser.
Right.
And her girlfriend looks just like her. They look like twins. They're like little punk girls, skate girls. They have a drink for me, so I'm drinking. And the other thing that girls have, like girls can have a girls' night, like they can have a dance night. They don't need an excuse or they definitely don't need a dude to go out and have a fucking awesome time.
Right, yeah.
They can go on the dance floor and dance all night long and like,
and then go home.
I had that dance party with these two girls. They did not give a shit. They were the concert was fucking great. They're dancing, so I'm dancing. I'm just like, this is fucking insane. So
that's why I always say it was your queen for a day.
It was my queen for a day. Show finishes. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awkward. They were just like, gave me hugs. They're like, great. We've got to go catch a ride. We got to run. I was like, all right, run. And I'm just sort of like decompressing. The show is amazing. It was so good.
You're like, I'm parked out front. I don't have to rush.
Then walking across the pit to me is our friend Bowers, and he's like, yo, he's like, that was a great show. I'm like, yeah, great show. He's like, we're heading backstage. It's like, I went to high school with one of the band members. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool as shit. He's like, you want to come? I was like, yeah. So I like literally like hopped over the rail into the pit and we go backstage.
Amazing.
So he introduces to everyone. The whole band's there. The bartender that works there, Shannon, we know her.
Yeah.
She's feeding me drinks. So I haven't paid a dime. I haven't paid a dime. Seen the show.
You've become backstage. Everything you hate.
Yeah. I'm having a drink with man, and then one of the guys is like, "Hey, let's get out of here. Does anyone know where the Bowery is?" And no one's answering. I'm like, "How does no one know where the Bowery is?"
Yeah, that's right. The Barbary.
Barbary.
Yeah.
The Barbary. And I'm like, I know. They're like, "Can you take us?" And this is the band. And I'm like, "Yeah, I take it." So we all we in two cars, like they fill my car and fill another car, and they follow it, and we go around. We go to the Barbary, and we get in, and the bouncer, and I'm just like, I have TV on the radio here. He's like, what? And I was like, TV on the radio is with me. They're like, yeah, fucking go in. And the last guy, the lead singer, grabs the bouncer. He's like, points to me and goes, this guy doesn't pay for anything. He put him on my tab. Night. So I go into the bar, don't pay for a single drink all night. And all I remember is being on the dance floor with the whole band and all their entourage and all this stuff to Take On Me. That was my dream girl.
What a perfect
end of the night.
I always wondered why you had a photo of TV on the radio in your mirror in your bedroom. Yeah. Now I know.
Remember that night? So that was
that's a pretty great night. Yeah.
It's I mean,
but also
there are like stars and fates and like just deciding it to get the parking spot, to meet the little punk rock girl, getting in, seeing our friend, getting behind stage, knowing the bartender, it's like, stop.
I'm glad you didn't have the Saturn. You were driving your Saturn back then, trying to squeeze.
I think that was old blue. Old blue with the ceiling falling down. Yeah,
they probably thought you were a charity kid. It was like a Make-A-Wish.
It's like he can't afford drinks.
Yeah. Your Make-A-Wish was to go backstage and get drunk with TV on the radio. No, I love a good
shit.
When you meet an artist, even if you're not a huge fan of them. And then you're like out of context with what like a rock and roll lifestyle with them.
Oh yeah.
I had the weirdest experience in college where I had two really weird experiences. One was with some guys I was kind of loosely working with who were trying to buy the truck at the time, and there were some kind of shady dudes. Yeah. But the one guy was a legitimate music guy in town, and he was like, "Oh, there's a couple bands are playing at the Man. You should come out." And at the time, I was just like, I'd go to any show at the Troc because, like, I was working with these guys.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people that way. But so I go to the Man, and we're backstage. It was like one of those all-day festival shows, and I never even got to like see any of the show because it was like we're grilling, we're like hanging out with the band, with all the artists, and I don't remember who was on the bill except for the one band because we played horse, and it was the Meat Puppets. Which is the weirdest band to fucking play basketball with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really.
Yeah, that's a t-shirt, right?
It was yeah.
I played horse with Meat Puppets.
Yeah, it was a very strange day. But the only other strange band thing was I had an apartment in South Philly, and a friend of mine was recording his record at the time, and also in the same studio as him was Urge Overkill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he brought Urge Overkill to a party at my apartment. And Urge Overkill at the time they always wore suits with giant medallions. So
I don't remember that part, but okay, yeah.
The guitarist and the bass player are in my kitchen, and they're very tall, thin rock and roll guys, and they're in suits, and they're drinking, hanging out, talking to people. And the drummer got blackout drunk, and we had one of the pieces of furniture we had was a wheelchair.
You put the drummer,
and so he sat down in the wheelchair and eventually just kind of like
nodded off.
He had his, like curly hair, and people came into the party. They didn't see a wheelchair guy. They don't know who he is. And later on, he gets up to go use the bathroom. He stands up out of his wheelchair, and he blew so many people's minds. And I only wish he remembered that because I'm sure he fucking doesn't. Yeah. But yeah, that was a weird night. It was a very weird night.
Those are the best. Yeah, it's like I always find it like hard, like when you meet them after the show and you don't know what to say.
I know,
because you don't want to be a fanboy, but then they're fucking tired. They're on the road. They're like,
yeah.
Because a friend of mine, I went to see Ted Leo and the Pharmacist. Fucking long, old punk band. It's like played a great show, and a friend of mine was like, oh, one of the guys is staying with me. Come meet him. It's like, and he was like, oh, this guy, he was up in the balcony and he was like mouthing every single word to all your songs. He's like, you got to meet him. We're like, hey. And then it was it. Awkward silence. I had a drink. I'm sitting next to the guitar player. I'm like, hey, remember that time you played that song? That was cool. The old Chris Farley.
He's like, we play the same set every night. Yeah, they all blend into each other.
Nothing to say. It was still nice.
I'm on fucking autopilot out there. But thanks. No, it's always awkward to meet somebody.
Yeah.
Especially right after they played because you're like, yeah, man, I know you're exhausted. Like, you
just want to drink and
talk to me.
Yeah. But so did you? What was your favorite show? What was your best show?
My favorite show that I ever went to was September 11th, 2003.
Oh shit! 2 years after.
So 2 years after September 11th, and it was a show that no one else, anybody I talked to was either busy or didn't want to go. And I was like, all right, fine. Like, I'm going to go by myself. And it was at the TLA, the Theater of the Living Arts in Philly, which I think holds, like 800 people maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
And it was Andrew WK.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this. And I kicked myself.
In looking around that room, because at the time I think the TLA was only one level.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody in the room. I didn't know one person. I didn't come across one person I knew the entire night. And I was
Which is hard to do in Philly.
Yeah. And especially if you're going to shows a lot, you recognize people.
Yeah.
At least that work there.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't recognize anybody. And I went to the bar, went to the front of the bar and had a couple drinks there. And it was so loud and so energetic and so much fun. It was like, it was after I Get Wet. I don't know if his next record was out yet, but that was the majority of the set. I actually looked it up to see if I could find a set list. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it anywhere. Nobody put that. I mean, 2003. It's like pre-cell phones, cell phone cameras. So there's not a lot of documentation of it. It's just memories, which is all we used to have.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going out on the floor. And I just went out on the floor. I was like, I don't need to stand leaning against the bar. I just went out and I just got swept up in how much fun and what an amazing energy it was.
Yeah.
And the last song he plays, it ends up in She's Beautiful. And Andrew WK is just like, everybody on stage. And I don't remember going on stage, but I remember like still moving with this entire crowd the way it has been like almost the entire night. And then I look out and I see the floor is kind of empty.
Right.
And we're all on
the stage.
And it's the majority of the show is now on stage.
Yeah.
And it's like you're just kind of getting moved around. Like this energy was just kind of pushing you around. And, you know, it's like at one point, like I was behind an amp at one point. I'm like, the hell did this happen? And he didn't have a small band. He had a lot of guys in his band. He had like 3 guitar players. He played keyboard. There's a piano. There was a girl that just like worked out during the show. I mean, it was fucking crazy. That was probably the most fun I've ever. And I mean, I left. I was just like, I was covered in sweat.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I went out. It was still like hot outside. You went out, and there was still. I mean, it was 2 years removed from September 11th, so there was still like weird energy.
Yeah.
You know, and it was not even like a thing that night. Like no one cared.
Yeah, no one cared.
Everyone forgot about. Everyone just
in it.
had like this sweaty, fun. You know, hard rock, like loud guitar night, and it was the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah.
Probably the most fun I've ever had by myself.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that works. Like, I go to a lot of shows by myself. I always hate to, like, worry about someone else. Like, oh, are you enjoying the show? Like, if you're not in, especially it's, like, usually, like, some small fucking thing.
Yeah.
Where you've never even heard any of their songs, you know? So I just, like, you know, it's like, if, I'm telling you, if like, people that don't go to movies by themselves or dinner by themselves, do it.
Yeah, I mean,
because you, it's only you.
Yeah, and
Like
you know what? You can have an amazing time.
You might not have done that.
Right, I might have stood back and been like,
oh, this is cool. Yeah,
which happens a lot. Like when I go to shows with friends, sometimes I'm like, I'm actually really bummed. I had tickets to a show tomorrow night. And I was supposed to go with our friend Jackson, and he has an early call the next day and can't go. And I know he'd be so much fun to like. I know he'd want to be out on the floor. He'd want to get as close as possible. He has that energy.
Yeah, he does.
You know, it bumps me out. But I will go to the show by myself.
Right.
You know, and still maybe like, you know, it'll be a little less like, you know, I won't feel like.
But you never know. You don't know until you go.
Yeah.
You go through those doors, anything could happen.
Yeah.
It's like, I fucking love going to shows.
But there's also like, there's always that chance that there's going to be some magic that night.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a lot of weird experiences where people have gone, hey, you should do this.
Yeah.
One of them was, you know, an old friend of mine, Liz. She said, there's a band playing a residency at the Khyber, at the small bar in Philly. This is in '99, maybe. Mm-hmm. She goes, yeah, the record label's trying to get them like ready for shows because they're like a little, not quite there. Yeah. She goes, but I went last week and they were amazing, and they're playing every Wednesday for 6 weeks. Like, you got to go.
Yeah.
And I went and I saw this band and I was blown away by them, and it was the Strokes. I mean, it was the third week they had played maybe by the time I got there, and it was
it
was really
Strokes
something else. It was that
shit.
It was just that record.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Is this it? Those were their only songs. They didn't have any other songs. Maybe one or two B-sides didn't make the record. But it was like, whoa, and like not knowing them.
Yeah.
And going, well, now this is an amazing band. And like literally they became an amazing band within a year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's something like that.
But the older you get, the more likely you don't.
Yep.
So it's like you just have to.
Yeah, especially you're
put
like
yourself out there and just
two openers, and the show starts at 8.
Like I had one. I have to give a shout out to two local dudes that I see all the time. One, Langhorne Slim.
Right.
He's from Langhorne, PA. He's Langhorne Slim. He's in Nashville now, and I must have seen close to a dozen shows while he was
Right.
like getting his shit together, and it was fucking great. And the other one is how do you say it? Josh Ostrander.
Ostrander? Yeah.
Ostrander.
Yeah.
But LaGuardia.
Yeah, who is the singer of LaGuardia
which
and now
we
goes...
went. You took me to that show the first time I met him. We went at Dobbs.
Oh, no. Wasn't it the upstairs at Nick's? Wasn't it that show?
Oh, right.
It was a weird show. It was, I think the last show
you
they played.
introduced me to him and like the whole thing because we knew someone else.
Yeah, because we knew Greg and the other guys in the band. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like it was like my first time where I'm just like, they're so cool because they're in a rocket band.
Yeah,
It's like it just had like that energy. So I followed him, and he started East Coast champions,
Eastern Conference champions,
Eastern
right?
Conference champions, and I fucking love all their shit. And they broke up. I was like a little crushed. I had seen him live in that, and now he plays under Mondo Cosmo, and I've seen a bunch of shows, and I dig all this shit. And it was a couple months ago.
Yeah, that wasn't long ago.
He was like, DM me if you want tickets. And I did. And he's like, okay, dude, you're on the list. And I was just like, but it was in Brooklyn.
Yeah, there was a show in Brooklyn, right? Yeah.
And like, oh my God, talk about like not wanting to go down the street to see a show. It's like driving 2 hours to Brooklyn. But I had one of those fuck it moments and got in the car and drove there. And it was like, was it the best show ever? No. But I had a great fucking time. And it was in a part of Brooklyn I used to live. And
right,
so,
yeah. So it was weird.
Like,
it was a weird time
through,
trip.
Like,
yeah.
flashbacks. I'm like, holy shit, this is less than a mile from my apartment. It's like I haven't been there in years. So I was like, but you just do it. Just fucking do it.
Shout out to LaGuardia, man. If you can find that record,
they're still on my playlist.
It's
now.
still such a great record. I actually, we were friends with, this whole group, and LaGuardia was one of the bands in that group, along with, previously they were called The Trip, and then there was like Latimer, who was Jeff's band, and man, like that record really. That was something.
It's so good. I'd still play it today.
And also the Cobbs. If you can ever find the Cobbs record, it's like
you took me to a Cobbs show. It's like
it's like good. Not only are these great records and like from a particular time in our lives, but also like these are all really, really good people.
Oh, good guys.
Super awesome.
Still good guys. And they're still all are close. And they
still and they're still all playing.
Yeah, they're
and
still all playing.
They manage to play together sometimes, and it's really...
And it makes me wonder, like, you have more insight to this shit, or ideas anyways. It's like, I think about these two, Langhorne Slim and Mondo Cosmo. It's like they gained, like, a certain amount of popularity. It's like Langhorne Slim was on Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien befriends him. Conan O'Brien ends up playing with him. He ends up like going to gigs and like sitting in on sets with him. But they hit a ceiling. Same thing with Mondo. Mondo was on Jimmy Kimmel and like kills it on Jimmy Kimmel. They're like, oh my God. And like his first album like gets tons of radio play. And then they hit a ceiling. It's like I always think it's like, oh, they're gonna break through now.
Right. I mean, it's so impossible to break through now at this time in history. I mean, it's so hard to really,
especially bands.
I mean, there's no bands anymore. I mean, we've talked about this. I think in the top 20 artists, producing artists this year, I don't think there was any bands,
right?
At all, which is crazy.
So you either have like these big arena productions, or you're in a bar, or a small venue,
and it's. You don't make money selling records anymore.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You have to tour, which is a grind. Yeah. Nobody pays good money for music for television or movies anymore. Maybe still for movies.
Yeah.
But, a lot of guys used to score stuff, used to, do music for television shows. I mean, and not just, big shows, also for like Nat Geo stuff or whatever. They record. And to make a living as a musician. And you got to push T-shirts, and you got to put people in a bar, and it's the bands. I mean, there used to be shows every night of the week, at a lot of different venues across the city, and it's hard to like get people to go see those shows and see those bands, especially when they're like small to mid or mid to whatever. You know, it's tricky. I mean, sometimes you go to some of these smaller venues and they close off the top. It's just the first floor.
Yeah.
It's,
And it's like they don't seem to be like openers anymore. Like that was always like a chance to like kind of to grow is to open for people. And like you just don't.
I mean, it's kind of greatly diminished, I think, at this point. It's, people, it's like, oh, what time? Because you can look it up. You can do anything. You can see what time the doors are. You can see what time the artist you want to see hit the stage, for the past 10 nights of the tour.
Yeah.
I mean, it always bothers me when I see people like looking up the set lists from the night. And it's like, dude, living it.
You're living it.
I mean, it bothers me when I see people. I'm good I'll take one photograph.
Yeah, that's like one song, one photo. Like
That's it. Like you got to make it count.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to pick the song.
Pick the song, make it count,
and then put your phone away.
Yeah, and I try to we've now taken my daughter to a couple concerts, all a little bigger, just because it's just safety.
That's how
in
it
it.
is. Yeah.
I'm also the artist she's interested in seeing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can use the camera, you can take.
Right.
A couple
teaching her.
Yeah, but it's like you got to make it count.
Yeah.
Like you can't watch the show through your phone. There's no point in this. Like you're there, live it. Like And like at one point we were at a show and I stopped and I went. It was in an arena, and I was like, look at the people hanging out of like the luxury boxes. Yeah. Look, they're all like singing. Like, look how crazy and like everyone's in this energy. Yeah, I was like, that's what it's all about.
It's all about.
Yeah,
and seeing a live show,
and that's why seeing a huge arena show, still awesome.
Yeah,
sometimes more like you can see a band in a huge venue and they're maybe not ready or they get eaten alive by the room.
Right.
But then you see somebody who knows how to play a room.
Yeah.
Like I've always said, like. I saw the Black Crowes, and they knocked my dick in the dirt. I was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
It was like Remedy era Black Crowes. I was like, these guys know how to work a room.
My wife says the same thing. She goes, the best shows she's ever been to is Black Crowes.
They knew how to do it, man. They knew how to do it. You too. I saw you too. Like, they put on an amazing show.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say about the music. Like, it's pretty great. Bon Jovi.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know now, but like,
no, but back then? Oh, yeah. I already told that story, and it's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's, trying to think. We saw Foo Fighters together, right? We went to that show?
Oh, yeah, we did see them.
Yeah, that was pretty good. We just went to see the Motley Crue.
Yeah, not long
Atlantic
ago.
City.
Yeah. I gotta say,
that was fun.
That was fun. It was great people watching, and I was poo-pooing their new guitar player, but I gotta say, that guy, first of all, he's a great guitar player. Having the time of his life. He's like, I'm in fucking Motley Crue.
And it's basically the best of.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was all hits.
So he looked so happy.
So happy. And I'm like, you know what? I get it. I get why he's so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I got a few others here and there, but it's like live music is fucking awesome.
Live and rock and roll, so fun.
Yeah.
So
small
worth
venues,
seeing.
Big venues, medium venues, like just go, man.
Just go see it.
Just go. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a highly recommended, but I couldn't even think of it. The only thing I thought of, because I forgot about it, so I didn't think about it, is Prince's Sign of the Times concert movie.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is weird. I don't know how much was live and how much it's like pre-recorded.
They shot a lot of rehearsals.
There's like a little story in it that's a little weird, but whatever. But the show, every single song is amazing, and so that's my highly recommended. Prince, Sign of the Times.
Growing up, my dad got a VCR. I forget, it was probably in like 5th grade or something when he got a VCR, and that was one of the only concert movies they had at the video store that we used to go to. And I remember getting it and being like, this is amazing. And I must have watched Sign of the Times 6 or 7 times. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. I loved that movie so much.
I know. And I just rewatched it like maybe a year ago. And I was blown away again. I was just like, this is so good.
Right.
It's
great.
that good.
Yeah.
Trust us.
Yeah. All right. So Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe.
Yes, please.
Drop us a comment. Tell us about your favorite show. Tell us, since we know everybody that listens, tell me about the show I forgot to mention that we were at together.
Yeah, I know. I've got like so many like.
I'm sure there's a couple of those.
Yeah, like I had like a dark time that was just like so many shows. It was so
Oh
good.
man, yeah. No, I mean, we could have done a whole show on what these weird shows that we saw and things that we like. Can you believe that?
Yeah, but if it's been a while, go to a show.
Yeah, go to a show. It's like
get off your ass and go to a show, man.
Put some insoles in.
Yeah.
Stand in the back. You'll be all right.
You'll be all right. You'll make it.
Yeah, don't worry. There's always a parking lot nearby. Half of them have valet. You're not too old. Go. You'll be fine. Get a sitter.
All right, man.
Later.